Welcome, crafty friends. I am ToniStamps. Thank you for being here. This video is, I'm saying, part one of my Weekend Adventures mini album tutorial. So in this one, I'm going to be making the base album. This is going to be an 8.5 by 8.5 album with a, let me check my notes. Think about a 1.25 inch spine. There's going to be 3 pocket pages, and we're going to be using the Weekend Adventures Scrapbooking Workshop Kit and the Designer Series paper, and maybe some of that two-tone cardstock that goes with it. So in this video, like I said, we're just going to we're going to cover our chipboard. Like, I'm going to use the lay flat method. We're going to make the base of our album, make our hinge, put that in there, and our pocket pages. I actually made this video last night and did all the things. And then when I got to transfer it from my phone to my iPad, I had clicked the wrong thing, so it didn't record any of it. So I've actually got said album base done. I got to the part where I was going to put the pocket pages in, and then I found out that it was all for naught. So what I'm actually doing right now is redoing. I'm just going to make another album base that I'll use later. I'm going to use a different color. But then when we get to the part where I'm ready to put pages in, we'll go back to the album that we're supposed to be using. So that is what tonight is. Now, so this is kind of going to be like homework for my Thursday night video. So every Thursday night I go live. Well, generally every Thursday. So this Thursday, let me look at the calendar, is going to be the 18th, September 18th. So that's when I want to have the base album done, and we're going to add like some interactive bits to the pages, some pockets, some, photo mats, doll it up with the designer paper and, stickers from the workshop kit and, all the things to like put it all together. I don't have pictures, but we're going to get it, it'll be in good shape. So right now, this is what we're doing, is making remaking the base of the album, and I'm going to be doing it in garden green, and measurements of everything that we're doing tonight is going to be in this video's description. Okay, so all right, let's get to it. Thanks. Okay, we're ready to get started. So like I said, this Weekend Adventures mini album, it's going to be an 8.5 by 8.5 album, and I'm using the Weekend Adventures Scrapbooking Workshop Kit. So we're going to use some of the paper, some of the die cuts, some of the stickers, like some of the things. We're also going to use the Designer Series paper pack if I need it. I don't really know yet. And then maybe some of the two-tone cardstock, which I'm actually not getting till tomorrow. So that's that. Okay. So again, the video description is going to have all the measurements, but I am going to go over them, as we're building the album. So the album that I built last night, which is what we're going to be actually using when we get to that, I used chocolate chip cardstock. I was cleaning out my stuff, reorganizing last week, and I found I still had 2 packs of this. So, and I love it. It was my favorite brown. The brown in the kits are actually early espresso, but I held the chocolate chip up to it, and it looks great. So that's what I'm going to be working with once we get back to that point. Right now, I'm going to redo a base, and I'm going to be using garden green. And I'll just use that for another project, because actually one of the Christmas packs has some garden green in it. I think the one North Pole delivery or something or other. So I may come and, use it with that. But let's get started. So you're first going to need chipboard, 2 pieces, 8.5 by 8.5, and 1 piece. Actually, let me see how close up I can get. Okay, about here. 1 piece that's 1.25 by 8.5. That's for the spine. So I do have some medium weight chipboard that I got from Amazon. But I tend to use the cardboard that comes in like our Designer Series paper for Stampin' Up. Some of the specialty packs have that thicker, not the white board, but it is actually thicker like chipboard. So I use that. Use any light to medium weight chipboard you want. So 2 pieces, 8.5 by 8.5. Then you want to cover them with some tape. Now I feel like I do need to stress that I have made smaller albums and I will use like this Tombow liquid glue. I only do that on smaller albums because I feel like I can get it, like burnish the glue when I'm putting it on the cardstock, and I can get it smooth so there's no wrinkles, there's no air bubbles. But when I'm working with something bigger like this, I do like the tape because I don't want any air bubbles. I don't want anything shifting. And I have a bunch of different sizes. So I've got this nice 6-inch log. I've got some 1-inch and some 1/8 inch. So whatever it takes, cover your chipboard. So 2 pieces of that, cover this. All right, so we're gonna peel this off and we're gonna start with the front and back covers. So we're making a wrapped cover album and we're gonna use the lay flat method, which I learned from Country Craft Creations. I love their tutorials. Their designers are awesome. And I came across this, their lay flat method like a year and a half ago or so, and I love it. All right, so for the wrapping part, 2 pieces of garden green, 10.5 by 10.5. Now you do need 12 by 12 for this album. All right. Ooh. Oh yikes! My scoring thing just went flying. Hold please. Oh. My stylus. Okay, and actually I need to get my little guides out. All right, so 10.5 by 10.5. I'm using my scoreboard just to line everything up. I want it pushed in the left-hand top corner. So we're gonna start with peeling this off, peeling all our tape off. And then I'm gonna bring in my, what are they called? It's like, they're like guides. I forget the word, but I got them from Country Craft Creations. These things. So we're going to use that in the upper left-hand corner. And that's going to help us keep everything straight. So when you are wrapping your album, you want generally 1 inch on either, like all the sides. That's why our chipboard started at 8.5 by 8.5. But our paper is 10.5 by 10.5 because we're adding 2 inches. All right, so now we're gonna flip this over, make sure everything is pushed up in the corner, and I'm just gonna use these guides to get that down. All right, perfect. Now we're gonna burnish this because we really want all that adhesive staying down. Now Stampin' Up! Has the adhesive sheets. Those are thinner. I am liking this this score tape, or yeah, that's what it is. Score tape, Sukwang. I'm liking that. It's just, it feels a little bit sturdier, thicker for a larger album. Plus I got that 6-inch wide roll. That was awesome. All right, same thing for this one. Let's peel off all of our tape ends. I feel like the tape here gives a smoother appearance too, like to the album. All right, I'm peeling this one, last one. Okay. All right, up in the corner, let's flip this over. Our guide, and voila. And then we're gonna burnish. All right, and then we're gonna do our spine. Now with the lay flat method, your spine, they want an inch on the top, inch on the bottom, and I'm talking about the cardstock. Then we want an inch and a half on the left and right sides. So you really take this and add 3 inches. So for our cardstock to wrap the spine, it's going to be 4 1/4 wide, because remember this is 1 1/4. So 1 1/4 plus 3, 4 1/4, and then by 10 1/2 tall. Then I have a different guide, and again, these both came from Country Craft Creations. This one is specifically for the spine in this lay flat method because this side is 1 1/2 inches wide. So we're going to use it just the same. Put that up in the corner, peel all our tape off, and lay it down. I'm really glad I came across their channel because I do love this album style with the cover. All right, so that's down, and we're gonna burnish all the things, and we're done with the scoreboard for now. And we're done with our spine cover guides, whatever we're gonna call them. All right, now we're going to wrap our covers. So we're gonna start, we wanna miter each corner, and we wanna leave about 1/8 of an inch gap. All right, and it doesn't have to be precise. All right, that's maybe less than 1/8. Just get it close, all right? And if you get it too close, the thing is, if you get it too close, you may see these corners poking out of your album when it's all said and done, and we generally don't want that, but we can fix that if it happens. All right. Oh, and I did not sand. So that's the thing with using this, the cardboard from our paper, is sometimes when you cut it, it's kind of ratty. But not a big deal. No one's going to see that anyway. All right, let's get rid of that. Now we're going to come back in with more score tape. And now this, I actually have tear and tape, so you want like 1/4 inch tape is a good size. So we're going to come in and do all 4 sides. Oh, my shoulder hurts. At the end of the chipboard, and then at this edge of the cardstock. All right, and just keep going around. We're also going to be using some, I like art glitter glue. You could use Barely Art glue. You could even use the Tombow glue as we wrap our covers. And I gotta tell you, using this lay flat method, I hardly ever get any cracking along the spine. And I'll show you what I mean. Actually, let me just grab that. Oh man, my arm. So what I mean is cracking is along these sides that bend. So when I use this method, I don't get it. And that's what you want. You don't want the cracking. That's kind of why I don't want to use two-tone cardstock for this, because it's not thick enough. And I think the thicker your cardstock, the more likely it is that you're not going to have cracking. Just because it's, I don't know, sturdier. All right. Okay, so that, and let's add all the tape to the other one while we're at it. And I will fast forward through this part because it's just doing the same thing that I just did. Okay, so we've got all that. Now you want to burnish every edge, all of this tape. Do not be shy. We really want that adhesive down in there. All right. Then we're going to start with, I like to start with the top and the bottom, whether it's square or rectangle, it doesn't matter. So with wrapping it, you want to start by gently, we want to train the cardstock, this is what everybody calls it, training it to bend. So, and some people go a lot quicker, but I like to just go, take your time, bend it, and keep going, keep going. Okay. Then I bring in the flat side of this bone folder, and I just want to ride it right along there so that cardstock gets right up on the edge of our chipboard. All right, now we can peel this tape. If my fingernails want to work. And here's when we want to bring in our art glitter glue or the Barely Art glue. Start with a bead of glue right at the edge of the chipboard, and then we want to fill in. All right, so we've got tape at the top, tape right here. Now you're going to start in the middle, pull it towards you, and then drag it out to the sides. All right, you want to keep everything nice and tight. And then bone fold, burnish, and give it a little press right there. All right, now some of that glue, you can see maybe that it's coming out, big deal. Let's just wipe that off. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. Peel our tape. Bead of glue. Extra glue. And then we're going to start in the middle and drag and press out. All right, and then bone fold and burnish. All right, and again, now on this side, we go back to, we're going to train it. So we're going to gently bend it. Okay, and then the other side. Now before we add glue or anything, we want to take our bone folder and, let me see, I gotta stand up. So like this corner right here, I've got just a teeny little weeny bit, and what we want to do is smash that in towards the chipboard. All right, and this time I'm using the curved end. All right, so we want that to go in, and same thing here. So if we had a wider cut, we would have more cardstock to have to bend in. All right, same thing here. Gotta get the edge of this tape up. All right, and then this, and bead of glue. I can't see very well. Okay, that's there. Extra glue. And then again, start in the middle. Oh wait, we forgot this. Yikes. Oh, we forgot to do the straight up part first. I could tell because it wasn't going to be nice and perfect straight. All right, down in the middle, press and press out. All right, and then straight edge and burnish. Burnish. So, perfect. look at these corners. That's really nice. All right, so now this one I had forgotten, so let's do that. And I already did the corners, so let's peel this tape up. Peel this tape up. Bead of glue. Whoopsie. Now I'm not rushing, but this part, it's not, I mean, it's not rocket science. Like, you just have to be patient. And it doesn't take forever. But the slower and more patient you are, like, you're going to have a very nice covered album. No wrinkles, no bubbles. Okay, nice. Now, when you get to the sides, if these didn't meet, like if we could still see some of the chipboard, don't worry about that because this gets covered anyway, okay? So the corners are our main deal, but man, this is perfect. All the sides, nice. All right, now we're gonna do the same thing with this one, and I'm just gonna fast forward. I'm not gonna like do it completely off camera, but we're gonna do the same thing, okay? Okay, I seem to need to refill my glue, but I want to show you this corner I cut a little bit too close. And the edge of the cardstock or the chipboard is a little bit jiggity. So I can take one of these corners that I cut off and I can just glue it right to the very edge there. And that's going to fix that. Like no one will notice. But I am going to have to take a time out and deal with this glue situation. Okay, so here we go. I added that glue and or added that corner piece, and I'm probably just gonna put this on, like, this will be the back cover, so it'll be like on the inside, less noticeable, but it's really not a huge deal. But I just want to show you, I just used the last of my 16-ounce refill. I almost made it a year. I think that's pretty good. All right, so we've got our covers. Now we need to do the spine, and people do this a little bit differently. I mean, there's several different ways to deal with this spine. So what I like to do is we're just going to bend the top and bottom. All right, just like we were doing before, like training it. All right, bend that down. Then let's come in and score that. All right, on both sides. Now we want to flip this over, and what I want to do is take the rounded edge of the bone folder. You want to find where that chipboard is and just go right up to that chipboard edge, and we're just going to burnish gently but firmly back and forth a couple times so that we can see that ridge, that edge. Okay. And then same thing with this one. Find the edge of the chipboard. Oopsie. So this is why I think the two-tone cardstock would not be a good fit to be covering albums, because it's thinner and you could just like score right through it with this. So you need something more, a little bit more sturdy. All right, so now we've got all those lines. Now let's gently bend it this way, bend it this way. All right. Now what we want to do is I want to cut this corner out. So like, let's just draw lines. So where we folded it is basically here and here. And I want to cut these out. And I'm going to angle it just a smidge. And then come in straight. And it doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to be trimming some more anyway. All right, so there's that. So now, and I'm going to do one side at a time. Now we want to bring in our tape, score tape, and I want kind of the same situation on the edge of the chipboard and on the edge of the cardstock. And we're going to run our bone folder there and pick up this tape. Yikes, doesn't want to come off. There we go. And bead of glue right at the seam there. And, oh, come on. All right. Let's try again. All right. All right, now we're just going to fold it over. And same thing, burnish, 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 burnish. Now, I want to angle this part and this part in just a smidge. So you want to hold your scissors up to this edge and then just angle in a tiny bit. And then you can flip it and do the same thing. Scissors right up against that side and then angle in a little bit. All right, now we'll do the same thing on the other side. And start by trimming. Trimming. Okay. And tape. And tape. All right, burnish that down. Burnish. Peel, peel. And then glue right along. And, oh, did I do it all over on the other one? I can't remember. I should have. All right, let's fold that. and do the side, and then burnish, 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 burnish. And then we do our trimming. And really, you can see how it's like hanging out, hanging off the side. We want to get rid of that. Because also when we join our covers, like we don't want that to show. Okay, so now we're ready to, let's give this another burnish. And burnish. We're going to bring our scoreboard back in. But this is how we're going to attach it. So we want this edge to almost butt up to where this depression is. Like this is the part that's going to open our album, right? This is going to be our cover. So we want to not go right up to the line, but we want to back it off a smidge, maybe 1/8 of an inch. So I want to put tape at the very edges. And like I said, we're going to get my, ouch, oh, my shoulder. Ugh. I wrecked it last Sunday and it's still hurting. Okay. And I am going to burnish that. I just want to get this tape laid down. All right, and actually I can go right here. I just don't want to get too close to the line with the tape because I don't want it, I don't want to see any of it. Okay, there's that. All right, let's burnish all of this. All right, so now you want your scoreboard to help you keep everything straight. All right, so ideally, this should be straight and this should be straight. So we want to put this up at the top of our scoreboard. And we're going to come in and, like I said, we're going to place it not right up to the edge of that because, I mean, you can feel it. So if you start in the middle and drag it over, it takes a dive off that line. So you want it like just a smidge off of the line. I think I said 1/8 of an inch, like off of the seam. It doesn't have to be perfect. Oh, this is gonna get on my nerves. All right. Hopefully this will get it through for me. And actually, I think I might have another one. Okay, so trying to keep everything straight at the top. And this part is, it may take you an album or two to figure out exactly how close you want to get it. But I'm going to show you. All right, flip it over because I really want to burnish this a lot. All right, so hopefully, see how this is the edge of our cardstock? That was like the dip. So when we open our album, that's what we're gonna see. And that's really what we want. All right, now, I think I can do it this way. Because the important part is keeping it straight up top. Like the fact I can let that go over the edge a little bit. All right, let's do more glue if it's going to let me. All right. Once I get this piece on, I'm going to be turning off for the evening because this is just annoying me. Okay, second piece, and I wanted this one to be the back of the album. Okay, remember I've got that whoopsie. So again, everything flush at the top, and then I'm going to go a little bit off That looks good. Okay. Flip it. Burnish, 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 burnish. Okay. Okay. So our album, look at this. It lays flat. So we can open it this way or that way. And when we have it open, even with pages, it will lay flat like this. It won't, you know, pop up like when you do a continuous piece. I love it. All right, but right now, very flippy floppy, okay? So we have to add an extra piece, and we call this the inside spine. And this is 4 1/4 by 8 3/8. So 8 3/8 is because this is 8 1/2, and I don't want it, you know, right edge to edge. I want it a smidge off. And 4 1/4 because I want it to cover this as well. And it's going to make this more stable. And I will tell you, we're going to use a lot of, you know what, let's use the 1-inch tape, because I do want tape and glue. All right, let's start about there. Oh, and that did not go straight. All right, and go about here. Excuse me. And I'm gonna have to cut this. Excuse me. All right, burnish, burnish, burnish. So you could use a bunch of the 1/4-inch tape if you have, you know, if that's what you have. But I have, why not just use the 1-inch that I have? Okay, burnish this. And I tell you, I really need my glue because I want to fill in. I want to do that, you know, glue along here as well. This is so annoying. All right, you know what? I'm gonna cut off, and we'll come back tomorrow and do this, or you know, it'll be right away for you. Okay, see you soon. Oh. Okay, we're back. So I got my glue situated. I had to rinse it out under the faucet, clear it out with the pen, do some things to it. Then I ordered another bottle of glue, which of course will be here tomorrow, not today. Anyway, so we are putting the inside spine piece. So again, this piece 4 1/4 by 8 3/8. And I want to add glue. So just to show you, this is going to cover up all of this garden green, and then just a smidge off the top and bottom. So it's not going to go quite to the edge, and that's what we want. But what I want to do, peel this backing off, and then I want to add some more glue just because I like it so much. No, I'm kidding. It really, I think, is, I do like the tape and glue situation, but I do want something. Oh, look, so did you notice that looked kind of watery when it came out? I think that's from me running it under. I used hot water, by the way. But yeah, glue and tape. And I'm adding glue in particular to the areas that don't have any tape. And just because I don't trust it, I am going to put my pin back in here, which I don't usually have to do every single time. But whatever it takes. Okay, now I'm going to try my best to get this centered. top and bottom. That looks good. Okay. Gonna give it a good press. Now, get in here with your bone folder and really go after it. I want to press all this adhesive down, whether it's tape or glue. And I might be shaking the camera, sorry. All right, and I really want to get the edges, top and bottom. And yeah, let's just go back and forth. Okay, so now there's more stability to this album. And now we just have to like score along these grooves. So we want to take the rounded side of your bone folder. I'm going to hold the spine. The spine's right in the middle, and just drag this side up until we see that line that it wants to start making. Go in there and gently back and forth. Back and forth. This is looking a little wrinkly, which is unusual. That's not right, but that's going to get covered up anyway. All right, and we'll flip it around. Same thing. We want to gently lift this up until we see the line that it wants to start making. And we're going to gently bone fold that. All right. And good. So, nice. I love the lay flat method because really the book stays closed. So when I used to make albums and I would like piece two longer pieces of cardstock together so you'd have like one big sheet to wrap your cover, invariably it would always want to stay up like this. Like it doesn't want to lay nice. So I really love this method. Now we want to add our hinges. So the hinges are what our pages are going to attach to. So for my hinge, I don't want this to go the full length of the album. So remember, our album is 8.5. So the hinge, I want to give it like 1/4 inch on each side. So I'm saying 8 inches. My pages are going to be 8 inches by 8 inches. So I'm actually going to take a smidge off of this. All right. So because I want, think of the pages are going to be like record album covers, only open on 2 sides. And we're going to have our hinge and then the page is going to slide on it. So if you have an 8-inch page, an 8-inch hinge, it's just going to be a little bit more tricky to get it on there. So I'm going to take just a sliver off, maybe a 1/16 of an inch. All right. And I'm not going to put that in my instructions. Like when I put the paper measurements, I'm still going to say the hinge is 3.5 by 8. That'll be our secret. Just so it gets on there easier. Okay. Now my stylus has disappeared again. The one thing that I need. Oh, okay. All right, so hinge. We're gonna need 3 hinges for 3 pages. So I want my hinges to be a 1/2 inch tall, and then the gusset in between them, I want to be a 1/4 inch. So on this 3.5 inch side, and let me just pop up here and make sure that we are in frame. Yep, okay. Along the 3.5 inch side, we're gonna score at 1/2, and I wanna use the larger end of my stylus. 1/2, 1, 1 1/4, 1 3/4, 2 1/4, 2 1/2, and then 3. Okay. So 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, that's going to fold up and that will be a hinge. All right, so fold that one up and then back. So do you see how that's gonna lay up like a hinge? Middle one, half inch, half inch. Let's pinch those together, mountain fold, and then bring it down for valley folds on each side. All right, that's our middle hinge. And then this last 2 panels, that's our last hinge. All right. So this is what we're looking at before we glue anything. So hinge, gusset, hinge, gusset, hinge. All right. And then we want to check. So before I glue these down, I want to make sure that these end pieces are not hanging over. So the edge of this hinge is just barely at the bottom. So that's fine. And then this one, it's a smidge shorter, and that's fine too. All right. So let's burnish all these fold lines. And we're definitely going to do more burnishing as we go, but this will get it as flat as we can. Okay, now we want to flip this over. You can use tape if you want, or you can use glue. I'm just going to use glue. Some people like to do both. And I'll just show you on the middle one, for instance. So you would put tape right down the middle. Okay. Burnish that. And still add some more glue. Whoa. And we're going to pinch that together. And then burnish. Get that glue moved around. And then when we fold it out, so there's our 2 gussets. And then we're going to just glue these 2 hinges together on the side. So I'm just going to use glue. I'm not using tape. I just wanted to show you that you could if you wanted to. All right, pinch, press, flip, burnish. All right, there's another hinge. And then the final hinge, I'm going to put it on this side because I know this side's a little bit shorter. Not as wide, rather. And pinch together, squeeze, flip, and burnish. Okay. So now this is how our hinges are going to look. So we've got hinge, gusset in the middle, hinge, gusset, hinge. All right. Now we have to attach this to the middle of our spine. All right. So right in the middle, this piece right here. Now for this, I do like to use tape. I like to use both tape and glue. So let me get this out of the way. I want to burnish this a little bit back and forth. So I want all of these hinges to go both ways, like back and forth, and burnish them just to get them used to flipping, to moving back and forth. All right. So tape, this was a 1/4 inch gusset, which is the width of this tape. That seems like it's going to be a tight squeeze though, but all right, let's try it. Now this doesn't matter. We can get it right up to the score line or the fold. And we're only putting it right here behind our gussets. Okay. So we want to burnish. Burnish, burnish, burnish. Peel. If this wants to peel. Okay. Now, before I put glue on, let me bring the album back. So our hinge, we're going to have about a 1/4 inch top and bottom. And I just want to look to see, like, I want to center it in this part. So what I'm really going to do is hold these two outer hinges, trying to keep this one straight up. And I just want to eyeball to get everything straight. Now, if it's not perfect, it's fine. It would affect, like, our pages. They might be crooked, but we'll be able to fix that as we add our pages. So don't worry. Just try to get it as straight and evenly spaced as you can. All right, so I've got glue and tape, and I'm going to go, let's see, right about there. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm trying to line up, like, across the top. That looks like an even spread. So that looks nice and straight. And same thing down here. I'm happy with it. Okay, so now I'm just going to burnish. Burnish, burnish, burnish. Then I'm going to flip that hinge this way and burnish this side. All right. And then I would say, let this sit for a little bit to let this glue dry and set up. And especially if you were using different glue, like if you were using the liquid glue, this has a lot more wiggle room. So like if you weren't quite right in your placement, that will give you more wiggle room, but it takes a lot longer to dry. So there's, you know, pros and cons. Okay, I am very happy with this. And now it is time to move back to the brown album that I started, the chocolate chip. So I will add pages to this later. But now we're going to get back to what we were supposed to be doing all along. So we've got our chocolate chip album. Same thing. I've got my hinges in here. Everything's nice and dry. For the pages. So like I said, we're going to make these pocket pages. So I have 6 pieces. So there's going to be 2 pieces for each pocket page. And I did not write this down. 6 pieces, 8 by 8.5. And we want to score at 8. All right, because that's going to give us a 1/2 inch flap to attach, or hinge really, I guess. So we're just going to take these, and on the 8.5 inch side, we're going to score everything at 8. Now I like to do it this way, scoring at 8, because if your cardstock wasn't cut exactly right, and say you just went and scored it at a 1/2 over here, then any wonkiness would happen on this part, and it might not be the full 8. So by doing it this way, scoring at the 8, because I want it to be 8 wide by 8 tall, then if there's any wonkiness, this part, the 1/2 inch tab, we don't really care, because we're just using that to attach. So if it's not quite a 1/2 inch, it's not the end of the world. It could be a 1/4 inch. It could be 3/8 of an inch. Does not matter. And sometimes I forget this, and I will score it at the shorter end. So it's just something I try to remember to do. Tell you, I am very happy and excited. I have not made an album this big in forever, very long time. One of the first ones I made was like a 7 by 7. But there's so much more you can do with the page elements when you're working with more real estate. And that's what I'm excited about and what we're going to get into. Okay. So each page we're going to take 2 pieces at a time, score, fold along these score lines and burnish. Now, if you want to miter the corners, you can do that. You don't need a big miter, just a little bit. And if you don't want to miter them, you don't have to miter them. Okay, so now we're going to piece these together. So think of it, this tab is going to attach to this spot, right? So we're going to flip this over, and then this tab is going to attach here. And we're going to end up with like a tube, like actually like a record player sleeve, right? Or a record sleeve. So I want to burnish these down some more. And these are only going one way, so you don't have to bend these back and forth and burnish them. We want these laying flat. So I'll just do one side at a time. And don't be shy with the glue. All right, now for me, it's easiest for me if I hold these up and make sure I'm laying it all on the table, and then I can squeeze these together side to side and run my fingers down so everything is straight and lined up. All right, and then there's the glue side, so awesome. So that side's good. Now all I have to do is lift this side up, add the glue, and then press it down. And it'll be all lined up. Okay, press, burnish. And then this pocket page is ready to go. All right, then we'll do the other two. And you know what? I'm just gonna miter these together. And I got one more. Ouch. Oh, my shoulder is still not great from last week. Okay, so fold and burnish. I was lucky I was able to leave pool early tonight so I could come home and get this last part of the video finished. All right, same thing. So we're gonna line these up so the tabs are in the middle. Add glue. Whoopsie. All right, now pick them up. Line everything up side to side. Squeeze that. Bone fold. Burnish, burnish, burnish. Perfect. And then we will add glue to this flap. Press down. Burnish. All right, and then the third one. I was real happy to find this chocolate chip 12 by 12 cardstock, and it seems like this was the perfect project because after I cut all my pieces, I only have 3 pieces left, so pretty good. All right, glue. Squeeze, press. If anything looks wonky, try to fix it because we want our pages as straight as possible. Because everything, you know, we're going to be adding like flips and flaps and pockets, and we want a good base to start out with. Everything lined up. All right, press. Okay. Uh-oh, dropped my bone folder. Oh. Okay, now we want to attach our pages. So our opening, our pocket is going to be on the right side. So this opening is going to slide over our hinges. All right, so bring our book back. And, oh, I can tell already, I forgot to, and I forgot to do it on the other one. And I even had a note. So you want to miter these hinges just a teeny little bit. And that's just to get it like a little easier to go on. Well, actually with the green one, I trimmed it down. So this one I did not. So this is a full 8 inches. So that's why I really need to miter these. But some people do it anyway. Just because it makes it a little bit easier to start when you're pressing your pages on. All right, get rid of that. Oop. Dropping all the glue. Okay, get these little bits out of the way. All right, back to this. So this is what we want to do, and I like to start in the back because I feel like I'm able to better line up, to keep everything straight down here. But this is what we want to do, is pop this over that hinge. Okay. And this is where I might have to, I might have to miter that a smidge more. Okay. Hold, please, while I get the trimsies out again. Okay, yep, perfect. So I did just have to go back in and miter a little bit more, just because this spine hinge was a whole 8 inches. But here's what we want to do, is we want to open this and we're going to slide it over the hinge. Now we want to keep it straight. We don't want to go all the way to the bottom of the hinge because that is going to impede the movement. So if you imagine taking this all the way down and then backing it off about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch. I'm trying to see like how close. Here's where that hinge ends, and then that's about 1/8 of an inch, right? And we want it to be, we don't want it to be touching the bottom of the hinge because it's just not gonna open nice. Now, some people like to just use glue on here. Other people like to use tape. I am a fan of both. And in this case, you want to put the tape closer to the edge of the hinge, the outer edge, I should say. Oh, yikes, that didn't rip nice. There we go. This edge, the right side of the hinge going this way, because remember, we're not going to scoot that down. We're not going to scoot our page down the whole way. All right. Now, I only put tape on the one side, and I still add glue. And again, keep in mind that I'm not going to go all the way down with this page. You want to keep everything straight as you can. And this part does take practice. All right, and that looks good. And now I need to eyeball across the bottom. So I'm using the bottom of my album here And now I'm going to press that down. All right, and let's get a paper towel to wipe up the glue that is peeking out. Just before it dries. Okay. Oh, yuck. I must have got that on my bone folder. Okay. So now, do you see how across here it looks straight, and then at the bottom that looks straight? So that's awesome. Now we want to flip this over. I didn't put any tape on here, so what I'm going to do is just get my glue up here a little bit. Actually, let me try to hold it this way. So like down on the hinge, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just something to get this closed. All right. And you could use tape on both sides. Then you just have to like find a hook or something to peel the tape off, like the paper, to like get in there and grab it. So that's why I just used to I like to use tape on the one side, tape and glue, and then just glue on this side. Okay, so that looks good. Now we're going to do the same thing for the middle one. And again, add your tape close to the edge. Burnish that down. You go through a lot of tape and glue putting these albums together. But I love it. All right, then we want to dry fit our pocket page again. Just make sure everything's going to lay on our hinge the way we want. And in this case, I'm going to want to trim this a wee bit more. At least the bottom of that. And I'm just going to go ahead and do this one. Okay. Just because I don't trust it since I've had to trim them all. All right, slide that. Okay. Much better. All right. So now I'm going to go until the end of my page is about 1/8 of an inch off of the bottom of this hinge. All right. And line it up with the other page. So let's add some glue. I can't wait to get into the actual decorating part or adding things. Okay. Let me get that. That looks straight. Everything looks good. Okay, awesome. Burnish. Burnish. Really want to press this down. Now, if you don't want to make pocket pages, you don't have to. I would still recommend having 2 layers of cardstock for your page, because just a single would just be too floppy. All right, so that's good. And then I'm going to go in and same thing that I did before. I'm just going to add some glue. All right, and then burnish. Okay. I love it. Love it, love it. And we are going to have inserts for our pockets. All right, last one, and then it will be time to get this video posted. All right, that went on perfect. I just needed to trim that, miter it some more. But the problem really was that I made it the whole 8 inches long, and I should have trimmed it off because like I said, trying to fit an 8-inch page on an 8-inch spine. And plus this is doubled up, so it's just a little less forgiving. Okay, so I already dry fitted that and it was good. All right, we're gonna add glue. Oh, and this album is gonna match my fingers as well. Happy accident. All right, putting this on. And again, I want to be careful that I back it off about 1/8 of an inch. Okay. Like I want to see the bottom of that hinge. All right, burnishing, burnishing. Flip over and get some glue. Whoa, that was a little crazy. All right. Okie dokie. You guys, we have our album base done and our 3 pocket pages. So 8.5 by 8.5, 1 1/4 inch spine. Beautiful, staying shut. All of our pages are lined up straight. If they're not perfectly straight, they're straight enough. We've got our pocket pages. 1, 2, 3. So when I decorate these and add the things on Thursday, I like my albums to be symmetrical. So what I mean is, like, I like the inside front covers to be the same. Then I want this page and this page to be the same. And then I open it up and I want this page and this page the same. And then this and this to be the same. I like that because I just like things to match like that. But also, you don't have to think of 6 different page ideas. Like, that's too much. So just do, split it in half. So if I had 4 pages, then I would still do like the outer 2, then the next one, then there would be another page. So like that they all match as we go. But I'm excited to get going with this for Thursday. So like I said, I'm posting this as soon as I can tonight. It's before midnight, so I should be able to post this tonight. It's Tuesday. And my plan for Thursday's live is I'm going to have all my some designer paper cut, extra cardstock, because I'll tell you, we're going to put a pocket here, and then some flips and different interesting elements for each page. So let's see, do I want to share anything? Oh yeah, we're going to have like a triple flip out for this. And yeah, I'm not going to give it away. Okay, so thank you. And again, consider this your homework, that I would like you to watch it before Thursday if you can, just so that how we got to this part is going to make sense. And, you'll have this video for, you can just use this to make the base. And then if you don't like how I do my pages later, you don't have to do that, but you'll have this to start with and you can do whatever you want. So, all right, guys, thanks for being here, and I will see you soon.